It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Central Arkansas's assistant beach volleyball coach, Coach Erin Martin. How are you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in coaching in college beach volleyball?
Yeah, well, I was a player, and I competed for a few universities. I got to play at a really high level, which was really awesome. And kind of throughout that process, I got into coaching youth volleyball. So I'd been coaching also for quite a while. I did my volunteer hours in high school. I was a volunteer with the YMCA in Colorado, where I'm from. And I loved it. I loved teaching new skills. I loved the process of just learning and teaching new players how they could be really good at a sport. So that was a big interest for me. Just really enjoyed it, enjoyed the process of it. And then as I went throughout my collegiate career, I started to realize that I could potentially do this for my career. And I got to be coached by some really awesome people. So I learned a lot of new things, how to run a program, what all the work that it took. But it was just something that I thought was a goal that I could accomplish. And so that's kind of how I wanted to get into it that way. But yeah, it was awesome. I loved every minute of my career. My playing career was so fun. So this is just kind of a way for me to sort of extend it and keep just being involved in the game.
What was that experience like for you going to three different universities to play beach volleyball, going to New Mexico, Boise, and Lafayette?
Yeah, so I it was an interesting career kind of process for me. So yeah, initially I played for the University of New Mexico. That was where I was at my freshman season, and I loved it there. My coaches were amazing. I got to be coached by Pauline Manser. She was an Olympian for Australia. She played in the Olympics. And Daniel Fu, who is now the coach at University of Texas El Paso, where my sister actually plays. So those coaches were amazing. Loved my time there. Unfortunately, the New Mexico Athletic Department decided to no longer promote our sport. So my sport got cut, and that's kind of why I transferred to Loyola Marymount in Southern California. And I went to play for John Mayer and Betsy Flint. Betsy is still a current AVP professional player. John is a retired one of the all-time greats for the men's side of the game, and got to be around some really cool people out there. Got to compete against Betsy in practice a little bit, which was so awesome. Learned a lot. Really enjoyed my time out there. And then yeah, transferred to Boise State just from, some different things that I was looking for my last 2 years of college. And my sister transferred with me. And so ended up at Boise State, had a kind of connection with Allison Voigt, who is the head coach up there. She played at New Mexico for her collegiate career, so that's where that connection kind of happened. And yeah, just wanted to go and make an impact on a program. And I knew Boise State was up and coming, and I really wanted to make a mark on a place. So decided to go up to Idaho. And my senior year, had our winningest season ever. I was a captain at the time. My partner and I held the record for wins. And one of my former teammates actually just knocked off my record this last year, which is awesome to see. But I was a big part of helping them step up their level, which was kind of a goal for me in my collegiate career. I wanted to make an impact on a team, and I think I was able to do that there. So yeah, it was great. I loved every minute of it. I got to learn a lot, improved as a player, as a person, and I wouldn't trade the world for it. So it was so awesome.
Of course, being a college athlete, what was that experience like learning from those professional athletes that were former professional athletes playing on the AVP tour?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like I knew and respected their feedback so much. Just and tried to be a sponge as much as I could, just because that's how you get better. And I wanted to be the best I could possibly be. And so those people being able to share their knowledge of the game of beach volleyball was a very unique experience for me. Not everybody gets that kind of an opportunity to do it. And so, tried to just take in what I could so that way, now I can give feedback to my own players in that kind of same way, trying to use my extensive experience and just give them the most tools to add to their game so that way they can be successful and accomplish all that they want to.
Coming out of college, what was that experience like first becoming a head beach volleyball coach?
Yeah, so coming out of college, I took a job at the Lab, which is a beach volleyball club in Colorado. I was offered a director position to begin kind of developing a coaching plan and everything for them. I had worked with that club previously in college. I started coaching with them my sophomore year of college. So when I was at LMU. I began coaching at the Lab, where me, my sister, and Heidi, and she is currently an owner of a club in California. It's called Bodie Beach. Us three, we were kind of able to, in the summers, help coach at the Lab, where a lot of girls from Colorado, they didn't have tons of extensive beach coaches around the area. And so we were able to kind of provide them some that extra new level of just knowledge of the game and how, they needed to go about it in order to get themselves to the next level. And so we were able to take the Lab from being an unranked team to top 10 in the country, which was a super cool experience. And after my time kind of coaching with them in the summers, they offered me a full-time position and I was able to go and kind of start that head coaching journey for myself. It was great. I got to do that for a few months, and then transitioned out of it and helped Colorado Elite. I was able to transition from the Lab into Colorado Elite, which is where we began a beach training program for that club. They before only had an indoor training regime, and so they wanted to kind of give their players an expansion of both, because in college you can play both. So it was kind of a goal for them to, have their players be trained in either side and give them that experience. So before they even get to college, they already have some beach chops and they're able to kind of, transition if their school has a dual program and if they wanted to be a dual athlete in college. So yeah, it was awesome. Definitely used a lot of my playing experience going into those roles. Still do, in the role that I'm in now. So I give that kind of player perspective that a lot of coaches either they've been very far removed from it, and so they don't always remember what it was like to be an athlete. But since I'm, younger and not too far removed from my playing career, I tend to fall back on a lot of those experiences and try to help coach my athletes in the way that I wanted to be coached as a player.
For you, what was that transition like going from coaching on the club level to coming to Central Arkansas and coaching on the collegiate level of beach volleyball?
Yeah. Honestly, I think just the difference is probably the intensity. That's pretty much it. I think a lot of the same, we teach a lot of the same like technical things, skill stuff. You can never be too good at fundamentals. And so, I did my best to give those girls at the club the good basics, a good foundation. And we did the same thing when I came into the job here, trying to lay that good foundation so that way we can be successful in matches. Because, the better we pass, the better we serve, the better we can technically execute the skills in beach volleyball, then the more success we're going to have going through kind of our season. So, I think the intensity is the main aspect of the difference, which includes like, training amounts. Like in club, we would only train for like 3 days a week. And in college, we train for 5 to 6 days a week. We weightlift in college. We didn't do much weightlifting at the club level. We do a lot more conditioning in college, not as much conditioning at the club level. So that's kind of the whole aspect of the coaching side. Transitioning from club and kind of being mostly a coach to now kind of an administrator slash coach. That's a little bit different as well. So I not only in my role have to, coach kids, I get to, organize travel, I get to organize meals, I get to do recruiting, like I get to do so many things that are related to running a program, which is something that I really wanted experience in too. And so that was a big reason why I took the job here at UCA, just to give myself kind of that level up and be able to really make an impact in my own way with my knowledge that I have. Yeah.
Coming to Central Arkansas, what was that experience like for you coming and being the assistant coach? And what was that feeling like getting to step onto that beach volleyball stand for the first time as a coach?
Yeah, it was awesome. I love wearing purple and gray, and Coach John Newberry, he has tr entrusted me with so much responsibility with this team. He's head coach on paper, but he always tells me like you're the boss, you know what you're doing. Like I trust in in your plan of everything. And so, we collaborate really well in that aspect, but it was awesome. I felt the same kind of nerves stepping onto the sand for the first time as a coach that I did as a player. Because we've worked so hard in the off season and in the preseason before we went and competed in Houston in our week 1 tournament. And I just wanted the girls to play their best volleyball. And so, you get those nerves just right along with them and trying to keep them calm while you're trying to stay calm yourself. But it was really awesome. A lot of excitement. It was pretty surreal stepping onto the sand the first time as without the jersey on. It was a little bit different, but I'm able to make an impact in a different way for these young athletes, and it's awesome. I love every minute of coaching. Game days are probably my favorite day out of all of the days that I get a coach. So that's my favorite thing to do.
What does a typical game day look like for you as a coach versus for your beach volleyball players?
Yeah, well, the players get to worry about playing. And as a coach, you got to worry about all the other things on the back end. So, we wake up, we make sure the girls got their breakfast, we make sure hair's up and done before we were leaving the hotel, and got to make sure that lineup gets written an hour before the game, and we run them through warm-ups, run them through, do a little quick team chat, trying to make sure we get them amped up and hype and ready to go for their match that they're getting ready to play. And then, just trying to help them along and give them some good information as they go throughout their matches. In beach volleyball, I'm only allowed to give them feedback on side switches and timeouts. So, there's times where I'll be sitting back there, just watching the girls do their thing, and maybe I want to say something but I can't. I got to keep my mouth shut. So sometimes we'll do maybe like a little wink, or I'll suggest maybe they call timeout if we need to talk about something or if they need a pause. But yeah, otherwise I'm pretty much a big cheerleader when I'm sitting on that bench in between those times. So it's awesome though. Like I love game days. They're so awesome. It's super fun atmosphere. You get the music going, you get all the teams that are cheering on the side, hoping that their teammates pull out a win for their program. And that's the funnest time when it comes down to we're tied maybe 2-2 in a duel and it's coming down to that third court. It's my favorite time to be coaching.
Of course, as a coach, what have been some of the things that you've been able to accomplish so far?
Yeah, so I guess this year, it's been a really big building year for us here at UCA. Me being a first year coach, coming in and trying to instill a different type of culture than what we've normally had. Trying to build kind of a base. We've been calling this year kind of our ground zero. for our future. So, the girls have done a great job of accepting like my standards and what I expect of them. They've done a good job of adjusting, how we train, how we look at training, how we look at competition, what we want our team to be doing, on game days versus in practice. They've done a great job of just accepting me in that role. But yeah, I guess accomplishments so far this year, we've had a very small roster and we've had very limited physical issues. I'm gonna knock on wood for that because we still have our conference tournament coming up. But we've been incredibly healthy. I'm very thankful for that this year. I think that's a big accomplishment because there's plenty of teams where injuries have plagued them, and so far not for us. We got a win over McNeese State, which was something kind of awesome for me because my old collegiate beach partner, Yasmin Tan, is the head coach there. And so it was a little bit of a rivalry kind of a thing, a friendly rivalry, but we were able to get the win over them. A huge accomplishment for us is that we got our first conference win in 2 years over Austin P. We actually got to, we beat them twice this year, which was awesome. Our goal has been, we don't want to be at the bottom of the conference anymore. We want to keep, stepping our game up. And so far this year, we are looking to not be seated at the bottom, which is really exciting. And we're just hoping to kind of grow it as we keep going. But yeah, kind of our goal. We're hoping that maybe we can get to it. We've wanted 10 wins on the year. Currently, we sit at 8. So we're hopeful we can maybe get 2 more in our conference tournament. But we're gonna find out. So the girls have been working so hard, and I'm just so proud of their growth overall from the fall to now. We're a different team, a different program from where we started out. And so I just hope to keep kind of building on that stepping stone and keep moving forward with the team that way.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you started to help to build for the beach volleyball program?
Yeah, yeah. So coming in, one of our main goals was to look at our training as growth. Every day we want to come in and get better. That's a big part of, how we can improve and how we can improve quickly. Focusing on our process of how we do things rather than just the results that we're getting. And that goes in all things. That goes in the weight room, that goes in our classroom. They're student athletes. We want to make sure that they're getting their homework done and talking to their professors and doing all that stuff too. So that was kind of our big goal this year, was to look at the game a little bit differently because we're not, at the point that we want to be at yet, but in order to get there, we have to look at how we're doing things, not just what we're doing. So that was a really big goal. And culturally, that has shifted our team from looking at things in a negative way to more of a positive kind of an environment. There's nothing is perfect. Nothing is all sunshine and roses. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And the girls go through that every day. And we go through that as coaches with them. But that has been a big, big part of our culture this year. Positive, being able to support our teammates in any aspect. That's another really, really big thing for me. Because the teams that I was a part of, when we had a lot of support and team camaraderie, we were more successful than on the teams that maybe I didn't have as much of that. So making sure that they're cheering for their teammates in any kind of drill, like hyping them up, cheering them on to finish through maybe a tough one, and that moves over to game days too, making sure that they're on the sidelines, they're committed to their pairs winning the match, and making it more of an involvement with their team. So I think we've done a good job of that this year as well. So those are some really big accomplishments as well on our culture side of things. We're going to continue to keep looking to grow and continue to learn every day. Continuing to add more pieces to our puzzle with some new recruits coming in next year. So it'll be exciting to add them to what we've been building this year, and just to keep growing with it as we go.
As a beach volleyball coach and assistant coach, what are some of the things that you look at in those perspectives to your athletes? And what does that recruitment process look like for beach volleyball?
Yeah, a lot of it stems from, them sending me video. So I was more of the style player. I was a really scrappy, high energy player, and I know that not everybody is necessarily like that, but man, I love the kids who are. I love the ones that are willing to go through a lot of adversity in order to get kind of where they want to be. So in the recruitment process, if I, recognize a talented little athlete, then we set up a phone call and talk about, what were some of their struggles, how have they overcome things. I also am a big proponent of body language. So when I go to recruiting events and I'm just, sitting there watching a match, how are the players responding to adversity? How are they responding to maybe a point lost or a couple of points lost, or if they lose a set, how are they responding in the next set, with their partner, with their coach, with their parents. It all goes into them being a very rounded human. And I want, good people and good athletes here at UCA. So that's a big part of looking at the recruitment process for me. I also want good students on my team. That's a big deal, we want to be getting the Team AVCA award every single year, which means that our GPA has to be above a 3.5 as a collective. And so if I can get good students in here that value wanting to get a degree and wanting to, take their academics at a high level, then I'm also going to have that commitment on the court. The whole thing kind of translates together. So that's a big part of what I'm looking for here. And I know our next class of 2024s, they're going to be coming in and looking to do just that. And so we're really excited to have them next year.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that uniform for the first time representing Central Arkansas?
Yeah, it's awesome to watch them do that. I know they're all jittery and they got the butterflies and everything, and we try to take pressure and we try to practice it, and so that way, it's a little bit harder to deal with in practice maybe than it would be in a match. And that's been a big thing for us, but they get just, the big eyes of like, wow, I'm really a student athlete now. And it's an experience that I get to see over and over again, but they don't have that same kind of a thing. I remember how it was for me putting on my jersey for the first time. I was like, wow, like this is real. Like I actually accomplished this. Like I did this, and that's only the start of the journey. So it's kind of cool to watch them go through that and to, step onto that court for their warm up for the first time. You can tell the ones that are made for the moment and the ones that are maybe a little bit jittery, and just trying to help them through that process of like enjoy the moment, enjoy your time of going through it, because you only get so many times to be able to put that jersey on. And so that's what I try to tell them. Preach it, enjoy the moment, enjoy the process. Yeah, we talk about pressure is a privilege, and so making sure that the pressure that they may be feeling or the jitters or the nerves, like that's a good feeling that not a lot of people are able to experience in their life. So, we try to make the most of it and look at it in a positive way as much as possible.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen achieve those big milestones in their careers and the first time stepping onto the sand?
Yeah, it's awesome to watch those girls get maybe a win that they weren't expecting, or, if they hit a certain win percentage during the season, like it's really cool because it shows that their hard work it's paying off. And so, it's like watching them in practice when they get a light bulb moment. Like those are the things that we do this job for. It's for them. Like I got into coaching to make student athlete experience an enjoyable thing, because not everybody gets that. And so I take that very seriously and want them to have that good experience, and we celebrate wins wherever possible, even if we lose as maybe a team, but somebody takes down a really good opponent, like we celebrate that as a group. So if they win, we all win, and we're trying to create that kind of a culture. And so the girls, they do that really well. I try to instill that as much as possible. And so, yeah, it's awesome to see them go through those accomplishments, because you never know when the next one is going to be, if there will even be a next one. So in order to get to maybe the next one, we got to celebrate the current. So it's been, yeah, awesome to see like our freshmen this year, make some really big strides and beat some teams that they maybe thought that they wouldn't beat, and play their best. That's ultimately what I want them to do. So those are our biggest accomplishments for sure.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those seniors put on that uniform for Central Arkansas for the last time?
Yeah, we just had our senior day, so this is very fitting. It's it brings back the memories for me during my senior day too. Just, mostly gratitude, appreciation for all their hard work that they've done. Our seniors this year, they were really awesome team leaders, culture setters. They've been through hell or high water here, and they've accomplished some really cool things this year. So they've welcomed me with open arms. They've done everything I've asked them to do, and watching them go through their senior day this last weekend, it was pretty cool. I know a lot of emotions, lots of tears, lots of happy tears, lots of gratitude being thrown around with our program. So mostly I'm just thankful that they were able to finish, because that's a huge accomplishment, getting to finish a collegiate career. Not everybody gets that opportunity. So, making sure that they know the moment, know that it's a big deal and a big accomplishment, and allowing them to celebrate is a really big thing for our team. So, yeah, that's kind of what brought me back to my finish of my career. And so, yeah, mostly gratitude. I'm really thankful for all of them and happy that they were able to be a part of our program, even if it was only for one season with me. But yeah.
Of course, what is it like seeing those players go on and playing on the professional circuit of the AVP?
Yeah, a lot of our players haven't really gotten that experience thus far, but definitely trying to push them that way for, the summer, telling them if they want to go and do that, definitely an experience that they should do. I was able to go and do it a little bit here and there through during my career, and I thought I learned, a lot of lessons from it. I learned how to compete harder, how I needed to train more in order to be successful in that aspect. And so trying to encourage those players to just get out of their comfort zone and go and do it. Just attempt a qualifier. Go attempt a professional tournament where you can go enter in and see if you can win a little money at the end of the season. So trying to push them more, but if we're able to get a few people that go on to do it, that's going to be so awesome because, I help them kind of get to that point. It'll be a little mark of my career of like, oh, how cool, I did something right. So hopefully we can see more girls in our program trend towards trying to compete at that level. But I know that they are all very committed to, like we talked about, their academics. They're very, very committed to going on to their careers in being lawyers, doctors, all kinds of different things that is I think a little bit cooler than being an AVP professional athlete. But they're so smart and they're so talented, and I just want to see them succeed in any aspect. So yeah.
What are some of your future plans for the program moving forward?
Yeah. Well, we're trying to expand our roster size a little bit. We'll be having at least 15 athletes next year on our roster, which is a big deal, from 12 to now 15. Um, that's a big goal, just to so that way we can have, some different options for people, some different partnerships that can be created, a little bit more competition in practice. Those are some big things. Eventually we want to be working towards winning our conference, winning ASUN. I trying to create like a little bit of a 5-year plan for that to happen. Trying to work towards maybe in year 2 we're in the top 4 of our conference, and then working towards winning and trying to take off ranked opponents where we can. But that's, that comes with time, that comes with a lot of patience, which is something that I struggle with a little bit, but just because I'm so competitive. So those are some of our, hopeful accomplishments that we can get to. Um, Otherwise, just trying to make Conway, Arkansas, understand that beach volleyball is a really cool sport to watch, and keep getting our community involved here at UCA to come to our matches and come support our team in any way possible, because it really is an awesome sport to go and watch. It's unique, unlike any other, I think. So it's just trying to cultivate that love for the game here, where we may not have a beach, but we definitely have some sand, and as long as you have sand, you can play this sport. So, yeah.
What advice would you give those freshmen entering their first year of beach volleyball?
Oh, yes. Well, I'd say just to focus on the work. That's the biggest thing that I would probably give for them. I gave our freshmen that advice this year, like just focus on working through one day at a time, like and keeping consistent in that way. Being a freshman in college and a student athlete is a big deal. It's a lot of work, it's a lot of change that is thrown at you all at once. And so, having to manage not only volleyball, but having to manage school and, taking care of yourself. Just simple little tasks such as doing your own laundry for maybe the first time or figuring out what you're going to eat for dinner, sometimes can be a lot. And so, I also tell them to lean on their support system. Call your parents. It's okay to call your parents. It's okay to cry to your teammates a little bit that you're overwhelmed. It's okay to come into the coaches and talk to us about what's going on. So, there's a lot that goes into being a freshman student athlete. And like I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember how I was with it. And so try to give them that advice that I would have wanted to hear in those moments where maybe we were a little homesick or struggling with a class here or there, and just trying to give them as much support as they need so that way they can be successful for us on the court.
What advice would you give those college athletes looking to play professional beach volleyball on the AVP tour?
Yeah, train really hard. Get in really good shape. That's a big, big part of it. And just, find a support system that you trust. If you're able to, have some backing with you going on to that kind of a thing, it's really hard to break into that circuit. And so if you're able to have a really good support system that will help you through, your bad days, then you're gonna have a better chance of being more successful than maybe some of the others.
What advice would you give those future coaches out there looking to get started in coaching in college beach volleyball?
Oh, start wherever you want. But I'd say like just get going with something. Like learn as much as you can from as many people as you can, because there's so many cool opinions out there. There's so many different types of ways to go about teaching this game. I'd also say look to the best who do it. A big mentor for me he is at Cal Poly, Todd Rogers. He was an Olympic gold medalist, and we cultivated a really nice relationship when I was out in California. Um, I was, looking at potentially going to Cal Poly before my freshman year, ended up at New Mexico. But he was a great mentor and just person for me to ask questions and pick his brain on certain things. And he's won at the highest levels, and he's been around the block for quite a few years. And so, the more I'm able to learn from people like that, the better I get. So yeah, also I'd say like get a mentor that really knows what they're doing. The beach volleyball community is really cool because people they don't hold their cards too close to their chest. They will share, and they will help promote the game where it's able, just because it's growing and we need it to continue to grow. And so I'd say, yeah, just find a great mentor and be a sponge and be open to talking to people where you're able to.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Central Arkansas Beach Volleyball Program?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. My at is Erin, Erinn, and then it's an underscore Martin, Martinn_. You can find me there. UCA's beach volleyball is UCA Beach VB on Instagram, and otherwise you can just search Central Arkansas Beach Volleyball on Facebook, and it'll pop up. But yeah, we have our games that get streamed on Facebook. We have some fun on our Instagram stories, so definitely you guys should go and check us out.
Thank you again, Coach Erin Martin, for your interview and best luck in your future as the Central Arkansas Assistant Beach Volleyball Coach.
Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Erin Martin, for your interview and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.